We are happy to welcome you and so many of you. So there is like you online and on site. There's also a bunch of people, and we are looking forward to work with you today. So we are coming together with the Global Fashioning Assembly. Far-right fashion and how we can deconstruct it is our motto today. And the project is called Fashion in the Far Right, the New Complexity in Style. Additionally, we are also part of a project called Decolonizing Fashion, Textile Healing and Social Justice, which is part of a bigger and long-term project where we share knowledge and prepare some new education forms for the Institute, which is called Global Classroom, that brings together people from South Africa, students, design students, fashion design students from the University of Johannesburg, and our department, the Department of Fashion and Styles in Vienna at the Academy of Fine Arts. And my name is Sarah Held. I work here as a postdoc, and I teach and research, and I co-lead this far-right fashion project with Elke Gaugele, who is professor here. And I give you the floor.
Yes, hello also from my side. You can also see here we have some QR codes that we are running this global classroom. So the event is in a way streamed twice through our audience via Zoom and also through our YouTube channel called The Global Classroom, where you can maybe also have a look later. Our today's topic are authoritarian and far-right looks and styles, which we will hack later in the workshop format that will be followed after this introduction. And here we have, in a way, our research project. We are researching these authoritarian styles since a while here mainly in the area of Germany and Austria. And we found this label here, you can see it here, that says, we don't simply print clothing, we manufacture verbal weaponry.
How does authoritarian styles look like? And the next question is also, which is in your environment, your country, some sort of like oppressive system? Are there a parliamentary or like government oppression happening? How do they work? How do they perform sort of right-wing actions? And how do they look like? How do they dress? And which symbols do they use? How can we like sort of hack or do counter actions on a visual level, fashion based and craft based and design based counter actions against these symbols, which stands for like groups who are usually it's not just like oppression, and it's also like the turn to the right almost all over the globe. How do this oppression look like, or this turn looks like in your community? So in Austria we have a lot of, or like Elke said, a lot of different styles and looks, and an area where far-right fashion brands booming since the 90s. And we will get to it to show you something which is like on our side a huge problem. Then we go into a brainstorming session where you all go through your like handies and mobiles, or because you're not in the country, and started like think about which styles and looks are on a daily basis, like surrounding you. And then we do a short breakout and so-called brainstorming session. After this brainstorming session and thinking about and researching on different kinds of fascist symbols, or what fascism, authoritarian, and all these oppressive structures means in your community and sort of are on display. And then we have another sort of intro to introduce you to fashion hacking, which I guess is not that kind of common in your vocabulary or language. And this is also the purpose of what we are doing today. So to give you the chance to use activist tools in your very daily life on a fashion-based practice. And then we have like a working phase. Yeah, speaking of looks and styles and authoritarian structure, so we gathered in our research and our pre-research a lot of different styles, so that makes this phenomena so problematic. So the times have changed that you can recognize a fascist skinhead like on the street with their regular looks on with a bomber jacket, a bald head, and some combat boots. So the styles are different, but they are not just like being out of fashion. So that means all these looks and styles are very flourishing and coming in different ways to style themselves. So we brought you some pictures. On the left side you see a far right rally, which was basically an international far right gathering in Vienna in late July this year. And on the other side, you see the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville. Maybe you heard of, because it went viral because someone died because of like car crashing the rally. And you can see here a very similar look and style. And these pictures range from 2017 to 24. And we have styles like khakis are very present. Khakis and sort of a very sleek and preppy look. Here you see another pair of khakis, and also these polo or like Fred Perry shirts are very common in right-wing clothing practices, but also are part of vestimentary practice by leftist subcultures. And you see this also getting very into some sort of normcore dressing, and it's simply very coded. And Elke will give you some insights to how can these codes be like hard to decode or to encrypt today.
So Charlottesville was really kind of the historic point where Robin Givhan from the Washington Post spoke about the weaponization of fashion. And there was a kind of appel before that Andrew Engling from the Daily Stormer really said that there is kind of dress code. So get dressed in a kind of new normal, get high street fashion and go to the rally in high street fashion, so that people should look as normal as possible, as mainstream as possible. And this in 2017, it was kind of really anchor point of the weaponization and the changing point in the styles and appearances of the far right. So we also have some put together from our research some styles, and this is a style from the AfD, Alternative Party for the Germany, the right-wing parliamentary party in Germany. And here you can see that it is this kind of in a way sleek t-shirts, only with very small symbols. But if you look to the symbols, they say white boys summer, they say Stolzmonat, which is very hostile against queer and LGBTQI plus people. Or here there is this cute Dachshund, but it says jagen, chase them underneath. So it looks very sleek and very small symbols, but all in them very aggressive.
And this Dachshund refers to a speech by Gaugele, which is a public figure in the AfD party, and he targets like we're gonna chase them, we're gonna hunt them down, which refers to refugees and people from the post-migrant society.
Yes, and you can also see there is another label called Phalanx Europa, Phalanx Europe. And this is run by the identitarian movement from Austria first. Now it's also located in Germany. And here you can see what we said before in a little bit more placative sense, that it says Islam is not welcome. If you do not like it, pack your things, move, or yeah, this kind of remigration, go back to the south, which is also part of their rhetorics. It's also very interesting that this identitarian movement, which is very radical, right, also violent, is very much linked to the parliamentary right. Also, there were at some point also parallels to the US. Maybe some of you know about Breitbart News, which is also far-right online news forum. They also produce merch, and in a way it was very similar in the wording. So there was also a big parallel internationally between this identitarian movement in Europe and the alt-right in the US in sense of the rhetorics.
Yeah, speaking of rhetoric, so as I mentioned, or as I opened, these styles have like different outcomes. So we see here like this boxing gloves and also like the shirt, which is called Reconquista Crew. This is a label called Will to Rise, which comes out of the relatively new organizing structure called Active Clubs, and it's really interesting how the transatlantic networks work not just like on a right-wing networking ideology level, but on a political level, but also like on the production of styles and where do ideas come from and oscillating in between. So this is also part of this MMA, far-right MMA club society, and the active clubs were basically based on an idea which was born in Europe, and then they took it back to the US and started some decentralized leaderless development, which is also like a very common strategy from the neo-national socialism, like the original one. And so they clone it, and there was also like people or well-known figures like Patrick Schröder from Ansgar Arian jumping in and like publishing articles similar to the structure Elke mentioned earlier with the Unite the Right rally. So that means they publish in different right-wing media. So we have to organize ourselves, we have to build our own labels, we have to structure ourselves, and they are very entangled also, not just like in violent fight clubs, which like training for some right-wing doomsday called Day X. They are really into like turning down society. And the left one is a label from Cottbus, which is also like supplying fight clubs and part of an organized crime. So there's a lot of shades how they are working related with fashion.
And here on the right side with this toxic masculinity, you can see how the labels themselves even work with the critique on this kind of masculinities. Indeed, these are toxic masculinities, but it's kind of very openly responding to that by showing this. We compiled some other styles mainly from another supplier. And here on the left side, you can see that also this Ku Klux Klan aesthetics played a very important role also for the German far right from the beginning, I would say. This is a contemporary thing that is sold. And there's this White Boy Summer, and you can see it, and even this for babies, there is apparel. And also there was the mask that says Maulkorb Demokratie, that it's hard to translate it, but that the democracy does not allow to say you something.
Shut you down.
Yeah, shut you down. And there is always this play with the swastika, because in Germany the swastika is forbidden. So it says HKNKRZ, which means Hakenkreuz, which is also and plays around with these rhetorics and symbolics.
Yeah, so but it's not just for the dudes or the toxic masculinity ones. They also serve like partner clothings, which aren't less sort of violent in their visuals and their design. So that means Adolf, which is Adolf Hitler, Eva Braun, his sort of whatever kind of person, and 88 is a code for HH, which stands for Heil Hitler. And then we have another like rip off of like a symbol from the flag community. I think I don't know if everybody is familiar with this a certain aesthetic. This is basically rooted in the logo of the hip hop crew Run DMC from the 80s, and this symbol got ripped off like in so many ways, and this stands for white power. And then we have also like very traditional or classic aesthetics, like in the first wave of the 90s, where you can have like female undies, which says the German Reich or Deutsches Reich, and some other like also historical references to some Polish sort of achievements by the Nazi on a shirt printed. So yeah, and it's very binary gendered. I don't have to mention that, emphasize that.
So in summary, and we come to our last slide, we have very different styles and ways of dealing with aggression and violence, and the way of mobilizing violence in societies through symbols and through clothes, through the putting on of clothes, to get here to create identities, to create groups, but also to create action in a way of cultural and direct violence. And in summary, there is also an other layer of hate checking. Maybe you have heard about this, that brands are hate checked. This also exists for a long time. At present, it is here in our region. It is the North Face that is hacked in the sense of white supremacy. So you can see that on the one hand, far-right groups wear the North Face. They hate check the brand. And on the other side, they do a lot of kind of culture jamming and brand hacking with the logo. So there are T-shirts with the white race, the Iberian race, or also again the white race. So there is a lot of culture jamming and brand hacking going along with the North Face, as well as the North Face is worn also as a brand by far-right groups. So this would be a kind of summary that what we mean with this, with the rise of authoritarian styles and the mass production of these shirts and apparels.
Hacking. What is fashion hacking? The term goes back to Otto von Busch, which is a scholar in fashion studies, and so it got also used and reframed by other people. This is like hacking is also a huge strategy here at the Academy of Fine Arts in our teaching of the fashion of style department. So it means how to self-express yourself and present political statements on shirts, on different sorts of clothing, but it's not like limited to shirts or like also change the message of something like we see here a very Christian community which is sort of orthodox, and they have like these caps which were produced in a workshop by Daniel Drake in Canada by members of like the LGBTQIA community, and also indigenous people were taking part of it, and they hacked this message, push, which stands for pray until something happens, which is also like a very empty phrase, like push out homophobia. So this is like a very good example to hack a message on a shirt or cap or whatever. But it also means you can work with shapes and like the like clothings, and you can also work with messages from inside and outside, put on clothes, which targets like a counter knowledge, a counter strategy, a counter position to like the authoritarian, fascist, right wing, whatever is oppressing you in your community and society. And it's also like a very good tool to create agency, which means to be in sort of charge and like a self empowerment, also like empower others. This is also like a very important part of agency creating. It's not just like doing it for you, but also to shape communities, to build communities, to communicate with communities. Because like nowadays, where we're facing a shift to the far right almost globally, a shirt can be a very strong message, and it's also like part of the history of the motto shirt. On the other hand, we are also like you expose yourself, so be careful. What do you wear outside, and in which areas that can be also threatening. But it's also like a good tool to position yourself in your own like political beliefs or form them. And so we brought you another example from Vienna. So this project is called The Code, Der Mantel, and it's a project started by fashion designer Ferrari Zöchling and literature author and performance artist Lydia Haider. And it's also like sort of neighboring or early project of a project you on site maybe know called Burschenschaft Hysteria, which means Fred Hysteria, which was a female mock-up version of like Freds, which are also like a very huge part of the right-wing socialization and community in Austria. And so they made this code on purposes, like which style did like SS and Hugo Boss use to create the uniforms, and they made it out of a leather material, which is very like sensitive and reacts to like using, and it changes. So the code is getting more torn down over the years. But in the inside, there is a message to fascists or a statement, which is just like looks like the same at the very day it was produced. So they work also with like aging structures. And there is another example for fashion hacking, also coming out of some artist practice. It's called Who's of Fashion. It's a project which collaborates between Kampnagel, which is one of the queer performance spaces in the German-speaking area, and leads with migrant politics and like post-migrant art productions together. And we see here a turtleneck, a tight turtleneck, which printed anti-fascist on it, and they also play with the symbols of high fashion brands. So we see like a mock-up of the Chanel logo here. And on the other hand, this was a belt and a complete look designed by the project to make an anti-racist statement at the Berlinale this year. So you can see there's like high fashion hacks, including like the topic of far right and developments, and also like some sort of community works, which is like displayed on the cap we just saw. And also like an important thing to the code is it has like a huge label in the back, and every wearer who is like wearing the code to display their political statements embroider their name in the bag, and it's like just called the like sort of anti-fascist trophy that goes from person to person. And this is also like a nice idea to host a project in that way, that it's not just like owned by one person, but it's going through communities. And now it's part of our research project as well.
So what else can fashion hacking be? Or we have here, it's a brand that was hate-checked in the 90s and 2000, Lonsdale, that was hate-checked by the neo-Nazi groups because of its NSDA, that was hate-checked as the Nazi party. And Lonsdale was, as a brand, they positioned themselves and said, okay, we do not want to deliver the Nazis anymore, our brands or our stock. And they created also a new collection, because in a way, also this hate checking causes new ethical questions for the fashion industry. Of course, a lot of brands are hate checked, and they developed, for example, these T-shirts, Lonsdale against racism and hate. So for us, it's also kind of counter strategy of a big brand to deal with this hate checking.
Yeah, and like to mention something, when you wore your Lonsdale shirt in the 90s, so there was just like Elke mentioned, this NSD visible, and so they used it to citate the like NSDAP, and also pretty important is that the strategies. So we see a lot of, or we found a lot of hate checked high or like mass brands or suppliers, and for us it's important to see how they react to being appropriated by the far right. And so Lonsdale is one of the best examples for like position themselves, and also not just like with a statement online and producing counter narratives on their shirt. So that makes it also a hack.
Yeah, and then there is also this image that we put into our slideshow on counter strategies that are part of our workshop. This is a shop from Thorsteiner, which is a far right brand. So it's also very important to know that there has been a lot of resistance against these shops also in the public space. So this when they try to open stores,
they got beautified, from a left-wing position,
or even before that they tried to even to avoid that by legal courses that they can rent these shops. So there was really also very hard resistance against this. That's why we also had this put this image in here from the Thorsteiner shop. So this is quite a small amount, I would say, of hacking strategies, but also with dealing with these brutal symbols, and in a way to transform them into solidarity, into anti-racist, anti-suprematist solidarity, in the sense of social and also global justice. It's only a bunch, but we would like that it gets more, that it grows. And that's why we wanted to invite you now to our workshop part.
So this is now the part where we start, like I say it in German, bildet Banden against fascism. So let's gather together, form gangs, and hack white supremacy, or as an umbrella term, and to use your hands and your thoughts, and just like be as sassy as you want to be.